Welcome to the channel. I am BahamutDP. Glad you're joining me today. This will be my very first real crypto mining rig build. I've built a couple of little things, experimented, used my computers to just use trial and error, and now I finally got to the point where I feel like I'm ready to build a real rig, and I love the results. I'll tell you more about the results at the end, but it came out very good. I was super excited, and I'm very excited to bring the video to you. So yeah, sit back, relax, enjoy the build. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, and enjoy. Alright, let's get it started. We're going to start with the motherboard. It's a B75 USB BTC with a built-in CPU. It's an Intel G530. We went with a cheap VTrue L5 cooler, and I just had a stick of G-Skill RAM laying around. Next, power. I went with two Asus TUF Gaming 650 watts. They're 80 plus bronze. I've actually tested one of these out, really strong. Just a bunch of random cables that we'll need, and of course the PCIe risers so we can hook up the graphics cards. I went with 4 caps because we're using really low power graphics cards. And then a bunch of miscellaneous stuff. I have an extra hard drive and USB because I was thinking about using HiveOS. And then we got my handy dandy screwdriver kit, much needed. And then just a bunch of random screws, ties, cutters. But lastly, the mounting screws for the GPUs. Pretty. And the frame. Rhea and I painted this with a splatter effect. We did a nice little holographic sparkle clear, and of course, authentic spunky paws. That was a lot of fun to make. Lastly, we got some fans, Cool Moon Diamond X. We had a couple of these left over from Rhea's build, so I just picked up another box so we could finish them off cheap. We're going to start this off just like any other PC build. Open up the motherboard. We don't have to mount the CPU, it comes on it already. Really cool CPU just for mining. We got the PCIe connections in USB form. We'll actually lose a connection. I like that a lot better. There's these little pins here. You have to change how the power supply comes in. We're going to change it to the 24 pin. I was trying to be very careful to get it right the first time because power is important. See, little yellow jumpers. Next, stick a RAM. You can use any RAM for this project, really. Oh, that's so nice and satisfying. Oh, and then the cooler. I had this for another project laying around too. Thankfully, it looks really good with the aesthetic we're going for. Instructions are very important with this. Very clean. Very good looking cooler. I think it's about 20 bucks. I actually had a little bit of trouble with this, so I ended up flipping the brackets a few times to try to make it right. Eventually I got it. Alright, finally got it all mocked up and figured out. So now we can do the things like applying the thermal paste. I put just a little much on there, but it shouldn't be too much. Ooh, peel time. That copper looks so good underneath. This actually requires you to bolt it on from the back, which is a little bit difficult, but I like the solid connection. Get the nuts down on there, tighten them in a cross pattern. Nice and solid. And we still have a little bit of clearance, so we could put another stick of RAM in there if we wanted to. Very tight, but we could get it in there. Now that we're done with that, we can get the frame out and get it mounted on. I already pre-set this up before we painted just so I could get the right screw holes covered from paint. Same thing, cross pattern. I just keep moving around while I'm tightening them. Nice and solid again. I think the aesthetic is very nice with our painted rack. 24-pin connector split so that we can hook up both power supplies and they can turn on at the same time. And power. It's time for the power supplies. Gotta love the stickers. These are non-modular power supplies, so there is a little bit of extra cable management to deal with, but the price for performance I could not beat on these power supplies. One of them I actually acquired for free, and the other one was on a discounted deal for like $42. So for $42 I got 1200 watts of power to play with. The previously open one I was running 5 graphics cards on, and it barely broke a sweat, so that's why I feel very confident about using these in this project here. Unfortunately, my rack only has provisions for 1 screw hole on that side, so I have to make a little bit of a mount for the right side power supply. One step closer, we have our power and our computer. Cable management. Not much to say here, just try to get it as clean as possible. I'm trying to separate everything from my PCIe cables, my 24 pins, and trying to figure out how many SATA connections I'm going to need to. And as I start connecting, I'm trying to also keep things untangled as I go, so I can tie them up later and keep things as clean as I can keep it. I think it actually came out pretty nice, considering there is fistfuls and fistfuls of wire going on inside of that rack now. Cooling fans! These are really pretty. It cost me $25 to finish the set from the ones that we had already, so why not? I find that these fans don't do a ton of work, but they are necessary, and the way I set them up is I have the air pushing out of the rack instead of blowing into the graphics card. From my testing, I've seen maybe a 1 degree difference between flipping them around, and I just found that this was the best way to do it. Really have an amazing aesthetic going on here, and it costs almost nothing extra from what any regular type of product would cost for this project. We just had some paint laying around, so we got to make it look extra cool. Looks weren't exactly the priority with this build, but it didn't cost anything extra to make the looks happen. And since Rhea was helping me with the project, I felt like we could definitely throw a little bit of sparkle in there. Next, we're going to hook up all the PCIe splitters that I need. I have decided that on each strand of power, we're going to have 2 graphics cards, and the split that comes off of the main plug is going to the risers because they don't require as much power, and the 2 that are coming off of the main plug go to the graphics cards. We got some purple hardware. We're going to actually use the extra 2 to mount this hard drive. Just an extra HDD I had laying around that has Windows on it, and I've used it for mining already, so it's already set up, software, and overclock. These little connectors here are what we do not need because we are using the motherboard. Those are soldered right to the board. One less connection to worry about. We're not even going to use the power connections in here because, well, SATA isn't as reliable as the PCIe connection for power. With the 8 different risers, it got a little bit out of control, so I had to grab a couple of cards to mock up so we could just kind of get a few things in place to make this wiring a little bit cleaner. I actually spent a lot of time on this, and I tried a few different ways with the straps, the zip ties, and doing the PCIe cables going in, under, around, the sides. It was very, very challenging to get the way I wanted it to be. Because we have 8 USBs, 8 risers, and 16 PCIe connections, it ends up being kind of a lot of stuff to deal with. There we go. After much organization and time, kind of got everything mocked up where it wants to be, and now it's time for the graphics cards. This was the biggest hunt I've ever had to hunt, and I think we came up with some really good products at some really good prices. My favorite are these TUF 1660 Supers. I really wanted a full set, but I found a couple of good deals on the last few cards that I couldn't pass up. But someday, I think we will get the remaining 3, and we will fill this completely with the TUF cards. Ooh, this one was brand new. I was very excited to get this one. Brand new and fresh with the plastic still on it. I love it. I wish I could have got all of them brand new, but you guys understand how the market is. I actually use the PC under my desk to test these cards out when I get them and try my best to figure out their overclocks and their hash rates before they go into the big machine. And now, time to install cards. Oh, that pretty purple hardware. As you can see, the prep work was worth the time because as these go in, I have one strap and they look perfectly clean. Next we have this Zotac 1660 Ti Amp Edition. Actually got the upgraded Amp Edition for no fee and I didn't even realize, so I was very excited about that one. And lastly, to unbox, we have the Strix 1660 Super. I'm very excited. Every card I picked up is in very good condition and most of them look brand new. Last but not least, the MSI Gaming X Twin Frozr 7. This is a really cool looking card. It's a TI 1660 and it is the prettiest one on the rig. I'm very excited that the TUF power supplies came with these TUF straps because they did the perfect job of bundling up these PCIe cables. I'm so very excited with how this came out. The wiring is quite clean for as much as there is sitting there, and those hardwares, the paint job, I love the 5 matching cards. This is a very good looking rig and I'm super excited to have built it. Stick around to the end of the video, we will get you the test results and show you the operation. Hey everybody, wanted to give you the finished product. This is my old rig and some extra parts, don't worry about that. But the TUF-Unicorn build turned out very nicely. You see the spunky paw there. A lot of tweaking and testing to get it right, but it did all fire up the first time, recognized all the GPUs the first time. So here we have our TUF-Unicorn. It is going to eventually be full of TUF cards, but you know, prices and availability. It's been running very cool, very smooth. Everything's been around or under 60 degrees. I do have to readjust some of those USBs to get them all in order. They're all working. They're all working. This is my full setup here. So we got some parts here ready for something else. And then we have our monitoring. This one here monitors the 1070s underneath. I've got two of them turned off because we have power. We're using all the power we can use right now. And then just over here we have all of our 1660s. Like I said, you can see the temps are really nice, especially today. That's our hottest one. That's our Strix. For some reason that one's always the hottest, but it is usually one of the higher payout ones. The goal was 31 mega hash a piece. We got pretty close. We're gonna call it 30 a piece. I just want to get this last one dialed in a little bit better, but it seems like that's about as good as it's gonna get, unfortunately. But the goal was 240 mega hash, and sometimes we're seeing up to the 320 payout. I really hope you enjoyed the build. I had so much fun. Now, after going back through it a few times, I was able to bring some of the power down. We ended up with a total of 780 watts at the wall, I believe, with no monitor. Very awesome. We're getting right about 245 mega hash on average. I've been having some really weird internet issues, so my results that you see are a little on the low side, but I'm very happy with the results. It looks great, somewhat affordable, beside the graphics cards, you know, it just depends on when you get them, where you get them, and what kind of deal you're getting on them. The biggest concern I'm going to have coming forward is heat. I've been running this about a week now, and most of my temperatures stay around 60 or under 60. 61 every once in a while. But yeah, with the temperature going up outside and it getting to about 75, 80 outside, those temps, they shot up pretty quick to the high 60s. Alright, I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you really did, leave a like, leave a comment, share it to a friend. More builds like this are coming. I've got PC builds on deck. I'm going to rebuild my 1070 rig. I want to build a third rig, and then I'm also going to be doing a budget build. So we'll see how all these videos come together in the next month or so, and to see what I can actually get edited and recorded since I do it myself. One last thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. If you want to check me out doing some retro gaming, I have my Twitch channel down below. If you really like what we're doing here, you can go on down and support the Patreon. Other affiliate links for myself and my own links all down below. Please enjoy. We'll see you on the next video.